Hi YouTubers, it's been a very long time, far too long, and I'm sorry about that. There have been reasons. Mainly the reasons have been that I decided that my channel wasn't going that far. It was fun doing the satirical stuff and things like that, but that's just a bit of fun and I might do some more of that. But it's really, I wasn't getting that far. I felt I wasn't really reaching out. I wasn't getting lots more people or anything like that. I wanted to get more involved into a political side of things. I decided that, why not try and change things from within, if you like, try and get your opinions across, etc. Which takes time. You do need to build yourself up and get involved, as it were. And I got to that age where I thought, I haven't got that long left. It's best to leave the world better than when when you arrived. And for that reason, I thought, it would be nice to do something a little bit different. That has, of course, caused me a little bit of trouble, my atheism. And I didn't expect it to. Funnily enough, it's a story I need to tell. I need to tell it at a different time, and it will be coming up. The reason I don't want to tell you the entire story now is because it hasn't actually resolved itself. But what has occurred really is a freedom of speech issue. A freedom of speech issue is after the Charlie Hebdo affair, which I didn't have a chance to comment on. Yeah, freedom of speech has become a bit of a news item. And what we assume, in fact, if you were to look at something like now the National Secular Society, from which I'm a member, they issued a little guidance this last week saying about the freedom of expression guidelines. Now, new guidelines on freedom of expression have been published by the Equality and Human Rights Commission. The new advice, coming after the attack on the Paris officers of Charlie Hebdo, is aimed at clearing up the muddle and misunderstanding over UK free speech laws. It says, the National Secular Society Executive Director, Keith Porteous-Wood, said that those seeking hardest to shut down freedom of expression in the UK should heed the Commission's welcome reminder that, in effect, no one has the right not to be offended. The law, however, does not explicitly make this clear, and this is something I wish to raise. Now, there is a guidance that makes clear that freedom of expression is a fundamental right, protected by the Human Rights Act of 1998 and Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights. The guidance does set out areas where some statements are not classified as protected speech. Now, the guidance explains that Article 10 extends to the expression of views that may shock, disturb or offend the deeply held beliefs of others. And it notes that also, by the way, freedom of expression does not protect statements that discriminate against or harass or incite violence or hatred against other persons and groups, particularly by reference to their race, religious beliefs, gender and or sexual orientation. So, what you have in effect is a type of law that would be a blasphemy law within a freedom of speech law. And they contradict each other. Now, it's very difficult to decide when you are upsetting somebody. I could be saying, you're God's nonsense, or if you would say, this Prophet Muhammad bloke, he was a bit of a bandit, really, wasn't he? And if you say something like that, they could take that as an offence against their religion. So, despite any factual points you may wish to make, and so then people can say, well, you're offending us, but you don't have the right not to be offended. But it's a religious matter. Yeah, okay. So therefore, you're making hate speech. It's difficult, very, very difficult to actually clarify using laws like that. In fact, if you look at laws like Pakistan, where it's well known for its rather draconic blasphemy laws that are discussed many, many times for being so backward and nasty, really. Well, if you look at something like that started really as a clause in something like this. Just you can't speak out against religion. But of course, religion itself can, and often is, sometimes is, I won't say often is, it's not actually fair to say that. Sometimes it can be violent against others, and it can, of course, have hate speech within it. The scriptures can have hate speech within them as well. And you can't change them because they're there. You can point them out, but you can't change them. And so people think you're having a go at them, which, of course, you're not. You're trying to point out some of the flaws in their argument being a religious argument. I hope you understood all that, because it's quite difficult to explain. But what we have is a situation where you have a blasphemy law within a free speech law, and this is a nonsense. And despite the fact that the Equalities and Human Rights Commission have told you that UK free speech, etc., people have no right not to be offended, then another piece says it has. Let's look at the Pope then. Let's go back. Let's look at the Pope. Well, I know, we do go and have a look. He's been a bit controversial lately. After the Headbow affair, he said that if you insult my mother, you can expect a punch. Ooh, can we? You can insult my mother all you like. She's 89, she's a wonderful woman. I really love my mother, she's great. But if you call her some nasty name, then I'll go, can if you want. You can call me something horrible, I don't care. It's only a word, I'm not bothered. I won't like you particularly for it, that's true. I'll go, well, you haven't really earned any brownie points in my opinion. But no, violence, no, you can never, ever be correct by threatening violence. Never be correct by that. You can't stand in front of somebody who's a lot smaller than you. You know you can beat them up and say, don't do that or I will beat you up. You cannot do that to another human being. It is not right. It doesn't make you right. In fact, it makes you wrong. But then we come to another print, which is again a guideline within this, is disciplining of children. And we have the Pope saying once again that children should be smacked and disciplined. And there I can certainly, as far as discipline goes, yes, I can see reasons why toddlers, youngsters and children do need to have a certain amount of discipline, because they need to be taught. And of course, there's the naughty step. There's other things that you can do. You don't have to smack your children. As a child, I was smacked. My mother and father at some point smacked me. I honestly can't remember those particular events. I was obviously quite young when it happened. After that, I know it had an effect, because my mother would only have to look at me and say, don't even think about it. And I wouldn't. Oh, well, I might think about it, but I went, ooh, no, not going to do it. So, yeah, there was a discipline within that. But parents do have a duty in some ways to, bring up their children. I'm not going to get on the smacking debate for youngsters. The naughty step might work. Other things might work. And of course, smacking, I'm not going to defend it. I'm just not going to. But what I am saying is the Pope himself is inciting violence. People say, it's okay, I can hit you. You spoke about my mother in a bad way, so I hit him. That's not right. No, that's not right. And that is not how it works. People have said that this channel, which I haven't taken any videos down for some considerable time, this channel, well, it says that religious people can be violent. Something which I don't think it says. The fact that religious people can be violent is a fact. Some religious people are violent. Fact. I don't have to prove that. You just have to read the news, look at the TV, whatever. So, but me directly hate speech on this channel, me? I don't think so. I really don't. And that's the first thing I wish to cover. I have lots of other things I wish to say, and you know, keep an eye on me, because it could be interesting. Take care. I'm not going to forget my supporters, as it were. I've decided that you guys are actually too important to give up any of my beliefs. I'm waffling. You probably don't actually understand half the things I'm trying to say, but it'll all come clear in time. Take care, and peace. That goes worldwide.